Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Flying with Mike. Yes, a little bit late today. We had a little sidetrack there. Little somewhat sort of babysitting with the 10-month-old. 11, no, she's still 10-month. Getting close, though, very close. But anyway, um, we are here for yet another week of Flying with Mike. Thursday will be a no scheduled flight day as the schedule shows. And we'll be kind of light on Wednesday. But anyway, we are going to try our best to get 2 flights in today. We are flying out of Homestead Air Reserve Base, Florida. Many who were around in 1992 will remember a little thunderstorm called Hurricane Andrew. Now, I say little thunderstorm. Most hurricanes today, size-wise, they compare to that one that came in. They reported it at first, it ran Category 5 most of the Caribbean to just before Florida. Then they downgraded it to Cat 4, only 2 years later up it to Cat 5. Pretty devastating, just devastated Homestead. Miami took a hit, everything up the coast, and even the Louisiana area took a secondary hit, although not as bad. So Homestead's pretty well known, and I think that's why they kind of let it go. I actually heard at one time this was a racetrack. I'm not into that anymore, don't know. And like I said, that was a nasty rumor, and hopefully not me starting it. so, but anyway, that's where we're at. Now, we're headed to a Air Force base called Seymour Johnson. It is a fighter base, tanker base, was a buff base. It was and still is one of our frontline bases protecting the country. F-15s, F-22s, I believe, are stationed there. Again, you all can correct me. I've been out of that too long to keep track of it. But it's a fun place to go into. North Carolina is a huge military base. You have the Army at Fort Bragg, technically an Air Force base, but was relinquished back to the Army. Pope, only because it's co-located with Fort Bragg. I wonder if they'll do the same to Wright Pat or to McGuire. Huh. We'll see. I doubt it. But anyway, and then you've got Lejeune, Cherry Point, Elizabethtown, just a whole litany of bases here that the military has. Big military state. And we're going to head there. Now, the KC-46 you see in front of you, well, yeah, you can already see some problems. Yeah, it does not have the air refueling boom on it, nor the pods. And there may even be other structural things I'm not even familiar with. I've only seen it quite literally in passing as it went down the runway over to Scott, came out of Scott, and down the runway and away. Or flying over the house. That's about all I've ever seen it. So, quite literally, seen it just passing. But it is neat. It is a cool aircraft. One of the newest in the Air Force inventory. And it is always fun. And it has already done its damage with the Air Force in pretty much sidelining the KC-10s. Rumor has it a lot of KC-135s may also get sidelined. It's a pretty impressive aircraft, what it's capable of. So could very well be that aircraft. So we'll see. We'll see how time fares. Those KC-135s are just about, if not slightly older than B-52s or slightly younger. They came out at about the same time. So, anyway, let's quit talking, jabbing around. Let's get to work, get this plane in the air. That's the only way we'll get 2 flights in. So, all right, just kind of give you a look. Now, what you see on the ground is the minimum to load it. On the first officer side, which would be, as we're looking at the plane, the right side. Those luggage loaders, they're called LSUs. They have to be there. That little baggage thing comes with them. Captain side, or as we're looking at it, the right side. You got to have the GPU up front, the air stair next, loader next, ACU, air conditioning unit next, fuel truck. I don't think you all have a clue where that is. Just kidding. Those all have to be here, and respective doors and all opened. So basically, I'll kind of show you what I do when I come into this plane. We actually have to load it and do all of our fancy schmancy stuff to get it airborne. So again, just make sure all the doors are open, all that equipment's there. And by the way, if you forgot, it'll tell you. Okay? So let's get into it. Oh, and by the way, it took me a while. Not only with the 10-month-old, but we had a devil of a time getting this plane correct. It kept coming up white. Well, that's because yours truly kept clicking the wrong airplane. And I was clicking what I thought was right, and it's been that long since we flew it. So it took us a little time. When you look for it, first off, you have to have the professional. Of course, I clicked the wrong one. This is what I get for trying this without. Oh, come on. Okay, so to ensure you get the freighters and the 200s along with the 300, go to Flight Factor. Matter of fact, let me help. Oh, I gotta change something. I just saw it. This is the link I'm working from. I'm gonna get in here real quick before I forget. Here, off and on. There we go. And we'll click it so you know. But anyway, make sure you get the extended version. So everything starts with the professional. Then you got the extended, and I think the next one up, the third one, is world or something like that, global, something to that effect. I don't know what else you get with that. I don't understand it, don't get it. I got the extended, and that's why I got it. It didn't make sense. Now, I do have a link for the KC 135. Okay. Now, the next link you're going to get is for the actual aircraft that is the KC-46, which is based off the 767-200 special freighter. And basically, I think SF was the actual freighter built. I don't think it's one where they covered the windows, took everything out, laid down the floor, and called it a freighter, which they do to a lot of aircraft. But that will give it to you with these paint jobs. And unfortunately, though, like I said, you don't get the boom. And even if someone paints it on or adds it as a part or however they did what they did to the 747 to make it like the E4 command post, you still probably will not get it to lower. And I look forward to that day when that one comes out. I did do a lot of tanking missions with the Sim Air Force back in the day, and it's fun. It was just very challenging because what I saw was a plane a mile away. What they saw was a plane a mile away. But somehow, or no, I saw them connected, but they saw us a mile away, or vice versa. It was just a real royal pain. Join FS helped us, but It was just a royal. I don't know what today looks like. I've never tried tanking, and maybe I'll be called upon here soon. And then I got to remember the script of how you tank, and there is a script to it. Cleared pre-connect. There's just a whole litany they go through to do the connection. So anyway, that's how you get a hold of them. It's in the notes, it'll be in the notes for YouTube when this goes up. So look for them there. You'll be able to get a hold of that. And there's actually one for the 767-300, which is not what that aircraft is based off of. Now, if you would like to join Sim Air Force, get all of this out of the way right now, feel free to. By joining, what you're joining is a virtual special op group. They're a little different than a VA. Now, you want to fly, say you want to fly fighters, and you want a dogfight here on VATSIM. In the past, used to be very difficult. Again, we had rules for that. We had rules for formation flying, rules so you understood what we're here for, not what you want to do. Go up and shoot down tubs. That's not what they're here for. And that's not, if I'm seeing that out of you, I'm gonna recommend tossing you. So we're here to fly respectfully to the other aircraft, to the controllers, albeit we go into restricted areas, take over our own control of separation, but we still come out under them. We land and take off under them. So it's a little more strict, but we get to do some things that are a little different than what the airline guys get to do. So again, it's your call, Sim Air Force. Check us out, icrew.simairforce.com, icrew.simairforce.com. All right, enough of all of the administrative stuff. Let's get to what we're all here for. And that's to fly this beast. Again, we're at Homestead. We're going to Seymour Johnson. So, Sim Toolkit kind of shows we got a little fun out of here. Some storms starting to exit, and we're heading up to here. Currently, we are on VATSIM. We'll get to that in a minute. But our loadout today, yeah, they threw 186 people on us. No, they didn't. It's just they don't have a cargo version of this plane. So we translate that into cargo. So, and since we don't have a refueling mission accompanied with us, what Sim Toolkit, or let me back that up, Sim Brief gives us what we go with. Because we're not refueling anyone. If we're refueling, then we got to take into account the fuel, and you get the picture. So 39,000 60-pound payload. We'll get into that in a minute. How do you load this plane? Runway 6, landing 26, cost index 80 at 37,000. Okay, weather. I bet you couldn't tell it's raining here. Yeah, it's raining. Oh, east wind at 090 at 6, 10-mile visibility and rain. Light rain at least. And we're overcast at 5,500 feet, so we're all legal to leave. Up yonder in North Carolina, 010 at 3, 10-mile visibility. Few clouds at 22,000. Not sure why we're landing on 26. Contrails. Okay, I'm not sure what's in these remarks, what the heck contrails has to do. I've heard rumor of something to go on with contrails, but I don't know. So, but anyway, just a beautiful day. It's just 60 degrees there here in St. Louis. I know some have been asking. We're actually at 60. We're actually having a very beautiful And for me, I kind of like a light cloud deck just because it kind of suppresses the sun a little. It's not so rough in here to where I got to pull the curtains. But it's a beautiful day here in St. Louis. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. And if you haven't seen Mr. Rogers, well, you just heard how bad my singing is for no reason. Okay, so there we go. Clear this off. Now I want to take care of something real quick before we load up. Okay, you might have heard this just before we switched into from the poster for this leg of the stream to what you saw outside, and that was which is VATSIM telling you have a message of some kind. In this case, it's our auto ATC telling us that, hey, there's no controllers. 2163 is your squawk, auto ATC. It's an annoyance to me. I'm still not a huge fan of it, but I guess a lot of you are, because it's not going away. So we'll deal with it, no biggie. Also want to make sure we get ourselves set right. Now, if you see, you see mode C is green, so that means the controller's green. He's going to be happy. However, if you look over at the frequencies, he ain't going to even hear us. All right, so what I do is I click to where now we can at least transmit. Can't hear him. So what I'm going to do is... okay, so now you see TX, RX, RX. This is what I talked. If you, and make sure they're turned up. If they're turned down, yeah, they're not going to hear you still. Okay. And especially 121.5, because there's a bunch out there that love to yell at you if you're not paying attention. And they really do yell at you. That's the sad thing. They're the ones I wish VATSIM would take off the air, but who am I? All right, so that's what I talk about with that. So that'll be a step we can skip when we get there. Ooh, that was hard to do. All right, so we're now to that infamous part, and then we're going to get this aircraft loaded up. First, I came in, I come up here, kick that battery on, standby power to auto, all under this dial. This is your electrics. And then I get the bus ties on, I get the utility bus on. Left and right gens, do not open the gen disconnect lids and click on them, because you'll have to do maintenance. You just disconnected the gens from the engine. Okay, now, and that pretty much covers everything in the first half of our checklist. And by the way, this is the one I'm using. Oh, it don't help. Okay, it don't help. I was kind of hoping to make it fit better, to use a little more than we do, but it don't fit well. Good English there, flying with Mike. All right, so as you can see, I have basically accomplished all of these, your electronic or your emergency lights. The middle panel down right up at the top, you'll see them. Okay, now let's go up here. Again, this is what has to be there. Call. You don't need the high pressure unit unless you plan to start without the APU. GPU, fuel truck, chocks, Again, if you're a passenger and you're at the gate, click on it. If you're not, you're going to need the stairs and the bus. ASU, that's your air conditioning unit. Open your doors. Make sure they're open. Now, where we're up here, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of. Going to come over here and bring it in. Now, there's two places here and right by the pilot's right knee or left knee. So it's your call.
I'm in traffic, Alex 10 mile final, 8 right.
And you're supposed to be on CTAF. Of course you won't. It's been a big outlash. It seems to be a huge outlash against that, and I don't hear many anymore on it. All right, so go to ground. Here's where they are. So stairs, chocks, LSU, GPU, fuel truck, ACU, loader. Those have to be on. Then go to the next page, airplane. Now, if you want winglets, fine. They don't have winglets in the real world. Now, if you load up and the engines have the middle white, switch them from GE to PW. They're PW engines. Okay, and then you just click open all, and all the doors will open up. All of them need to be opened on the cargo. Passenger, be careful with that. You don't want to necessarily open them all, but hey, if you like seeing them all open, open them. You're the pilot. You're the one having fun. Go back to ground, perform maintenance. I always do this just as a precaution. Now, I've come in zeroed, and I wanted to do that so you understand. Our cargo loadout today. Hang on, getting to it. 30,060 pounds. So how do we make this work? Now, I can already hear people who are new to this airplane going, well, simple. Put in how many pallets and then put the weight on the pallet. Doesn't work that way in Flight Factor. They have already scripted that each pallet will weigh 9,800 pounds. Doesn't matter if it's this one or this one. So what I do, I grab my calculator, dial in 39060, divide, not times, 060 divided by 9,800 pounds per pallet. Brings me to almost 4. Half tempted to go with it, but I'm not. For demonstration purposes, we're going to do 3 pallets. Enter. Now, the cargo weight I treat as like a bulk. Since I don't know what 0.98 is in that equation, I'll do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, today's estimated zero fuel weight is 215,710. I'm going to minus what's here for zero fuel weight right now. 211,010. Boy, I was expecting a lot higher number. All right, and enter. 215,710. We match. That's all that matters. Now, I am going to just leave it at 30,000. I'm looking at it. What's 3,000 pounds going to do to this plane? Nothing. Nothing, really. So there. Now you see your 3 pallets. Well, actually, and the 4th. Now, not necessarily will it show up there. That's where they stuck it. Now, let's optimize. And they kind of spread it out so our CG is in whack. And there you go. You're now loaded. You got your fuel. Oh, wait. No, you're not. Click load. Now you're loading. Sorry about that. Went way over. Hang on. Now, you don't have to leave this up. You can simply check back from time to time. You hear that noise in the background? That's one clue. When it's gone and you haven't heard it for a while, it's a good bet you've already been loaded. 2, you'll see aircraft no longer saying loading. You may not even see maintenance. 3rd, and I don't know since I didn't change fuel, the fuel will read 30.0. Right in the center below your engine starts is your fuel panel. I love this about the 767. I'll bet the 757 has it too. I can see right here. So we got about 15 or so thousand pounds to load. So we got some time. Let's get to work. Okay, panel floodlights I've already set. Let's go ahead, bring our demands on. Our demands are $1 million delivered by helicopter. Oh, sorry, that's a different stream. All right, so wingtip lights are on, and I'll get the logo on, even though it's green and there's nothing. Really, there's nothing on that logo. Smoking light lit. 100 landing altitude at 100 for our next place. And go ahead and move that to heading. Align, align, align. Now it's a waiting game for them to show a line on the top. Technically, we're checking, okay, we got on DC, so we know you lose your engine generators, your APU generator, your battery will tell you where you are. That's kind of important when now you're faced with, oh crap, where do I go? 7 minutes, the same thing, folks. If you put it on HDG, it's like, and it technically is your status codes, those of you familiar with INS. That's 7 minutes to align. I don't think SIVA or LTN with Fearless do that. Could be wrong, don't use them. So again, those that know this know what you get up here. So we got our 7 minutes. Let's get down and start programming. Make sure you have the latest, greatest AirNac. If you're that one that just, like me, that has to have it, there it is. We're good till March 20th now. Latest version. It hasn't changed, I want to say, in like a year or very close to that. And I'm going to tell you one thing about this plane. Flight factor is not the best. Trying to think the diplomatic ways to say it at keeping their planes up to date with the betas, because they won't. Exactly, they'll tell you. But this plane, the 767 professional extended version, amazingly, this plane has gone through each and every beta that I've flown it in, each and every release candidate like we're in right now, flown flawlessly. Can't say much for some of the other aircraft they have. I can't speak for the 757 other than to say I think it's the same, but I don't have it, so I can't say that. They actually had a post. What would you like to see us change on this plane? I'm like, not a doggone thing. It's the only plane in your inventory that I never have to just, oh, got to scrub flights because it's down. So I hope they heard me say that. Now, I don't know anything about the 777. I'm still on the fence with this philosophy they have of whether it's now worth that kind of money for an airplane that may not get updated enough. Oh, they're updating it right now, but we'll see. I'm just not hook, line, and sunk on it like many. Okay, hear the quiet? C30. Guess what that means? We'll get back to the FMC momentarily. Let's pull this in. That's right, it's done loading. So you can now go in, airplane, and I just close up manually everything. I leave the front door open and the staircase. So on the ground, now technically we could fire up the APU too. Why don't we? Actually, I'll show you my little trick there. When I turn this to start, see, it tells you which fuel pump. It automatically in Boeing turns the fuel pump on. And now we're waiting on the APU. I think it's already spun up. It's a fast one. Yeah, it's already up. So let's click on the gen. Off. Make sure you do this, because if you don't, when you switch over to engines, I forget what it does. Oh no, you just turn it off here. If I would have just gone and went bloop, clicked it off, with it still engaged, any work that I had done in the FMC goes bye-bye. So turn it off on the panel first, then here, get rid of your fuel truck. APU bleeds coming on. Got pressure. Everything's set for it, so we can turn the ACU, get rid of the loader, leave the chocks, get rid of them. Outcome looks like this. Chocks, air stair. I wonder why they're so far away from it. Huh. Anyway, and you're ready to literally start up. And I am going to do one. Oh, I already have. Okay, cool. Saw something weird on my I have no idea. It doesn't matter. Oh, sorry for that sniffle. All right, back to the FMC. All right. Now, with Boeing, you really don't need to look at the chart. It kind of does it for us. So let's go to pause in. Our reference airport, KHST. Our GPS, now we can go with this, and I am, or I don't think we don't have anything yet below. So that's why I go with it. Go to route, HST, KGSB. Today's flight number is RCH. Gonna mix it up a little, 1821. Now, I actually do have a company route. Hang on. I forgot I didn't save it. Export. Okay. And 01. Okay. Why I said that tells me that when I type in KHST, KGSB, add 01 for the company route. Route loaded. TINKK, is that all there is to it? Really? TINKK, that's it. How about that? Ah, that's great. Route loaded, clear. Oh, execute. Doggone it. Okay. Again, legs. That's all we got. All right, so go here. Our departure runway we said was runway 6. We're going on the Fowls 3 departure. And you can see there ALYRA. So falls, ALYRA, execute, legs. Okay, so let's take a look at that here real quick. Okay, so here's the chart. Okay, so to look at it more specifically, click the chart. So we're basically, that's weird. It's out of Miami. Oh, I'm looking. That's weird. Anyway, there's where we got to go. So we're going to take off runway 6, vector over to it, and then get on our route up to ALYRA. That is really bizarre. All right, then goes our ALYRA and TINKK. You can see how close TINKK is to GSB. All right, so that was pretty simple, wasn't it? Now let's do the arrival. It's only 647 miles away. Now we could leave it and say Jacksonville or DC, I forget which one has them, says you're going to need to do this, and then we don't have to change this and that, which could then lead to the airplane really. You hear it all the time. Oh, my FMC just went nuts on me. I don't know what happened. Well, I know 95% of what that problem is. We'll talk about it. But we're going to go ahead and set up for it. So index, arrival, no stars. Okay, so if you look here at charts, arrivals, which these are your stars, standard terminal arrival route, but there are 10 approaches. Now we're planning 26. Why? I have no idea. Should probably be runway 8. And let me show you why. It's right down the runway for it. Now, I have seen this where I used to work before, and it blows my mind away. Technically, though, as a pilot in command, if you don't like it, even on VATSIM, you can tell them, I can't accept the tailwind landing. Usually what they're doing is setting up with an airport nearby like Raleigh or someone else so that the controllers can keep the aircraft all in the same flow, so to speak. So right now I am going to leave it open. I got a feeling it's going to switch. We had that happen to us yesterday, or last flight. Actually, I think it was Friday that it switched on us. So we'll leave that, go back to route. Double check legs one more time. So the only discontinuity comes after TINKK, and for all we know, we might be able to go VFR. Who knows? All right, so back to route, perf. Now, unfortunately, I do have to get rid of charts to bring in SimToolkit. I use SimToolkit now more like a one-stop shop. I'm getting closer to adding more websites down here, so I can just okay, and then we're good to go. So what I'm going to do is I've got SimBrief already on here. I'm going to view flight plan. Reach 1821, it's a 200, technically KC46, but they don't have that. 46021's my tail number, and so forth. Now, if you want, you could come over here to Performance and Tools and do what we're going to do. The only difference in the numbers, first off, in the numbers, no difference. In the display, The only difference is the performance and tools at the end will have a map letting you know where V1, V rotate and all is. I'm going to go with this one. It's got it all filled in. If you go the other route, you got to fill everything in, from airplane, tail number, departure, runway, takeoff weight, and populate the weather. Here, it's done for me, and I just click calculate. And it gives me my numbers. Okay, so we're going to flap 5 out of here, take off 254 degrees. Pretty cool. Now, technically, yes, as a commercial pilot, I am required to know, well, I'm not a commercial pilot. I am actually a real-world private pilot. Please don't hold that over my head on landings, from the 1980s. So, I may not do everything they do, but I try to. There is no slope here. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so let's go to next. Oh, wait, we can't. So our reserve today, let me bring in, I'll just get it. Uh, 10.9, and our alternate is taking us to Charlotte. Okay, 37,000, cost index 80. Okay, 80. Most of this now can be got up here, 257.91. It'll stink to turn around and go back. And step size 2,000. Even though we won't, and take off. Now we do this. Wind on the runway, on the runway. 120 at 10. No slope. Temperature 20 degrees. Next page. All right, CG, we click on thrust. We said take off to the Great White North. Okay, and we're doing flaps 5. All right, do you want to see how close we were? Okay, we were saying, and they were increased to improve climb. 125, 128, 136 is what we're showing. On Sim Brief, they had 131, 134, 136. I'm going to go with their numbers. 131, 134, 136. And then if you click there, it turns them off where it says reference speeds. Okay, let's finish this up. Okay, back up top. And we're ready to go, so pack a lunch. Hang on. Okay, we're ready to go. Bump this up to 40. All right, and what I'd forgotten to do is once the word align comes up here, you can move them to nav. Okay, let's go back to what you're used to seeing. Lat lawns. All right, let's do it. Hydraulic pumps 1 and 2 electric on. Demands are already on. Aft, forward, and bulk all turned on. Cargo heat starters on 2. And they're off. Fuel pumps coming on because we're cranking up here in a second. No, actually, no, we're not. Hang on. My bad. Passenger signs on. Window heats on. Okay. Okay, seatbelts and passenger signs set. 100 foot for landing. We're on source 2 for our pressurization. Equipment cooling's auto. Cabin lights up. Everything's set on the packs and all. We're ready to go. Now I just click close all and it just double checks everything's closed. And then I go to stairs and we'll hold. We are not going to need a pushback, so we'll leave the chocks a little longer. One last look, and that should be all we see are chocks. Okay, and we're ready to go. Feel free to join us if you'd like. We are flying for Sim Air Force, and making sure they've done some reworking at the website. Looks really good. Really, really good. And just looking over everything, seeing, wow, looks really good. My first look here since I got word it was updated. Okay, and we're ready to go. Let's check our VATSIM. Houston is up. All right, let's get after it, shall we? All right, so we need fuel pumps, beacon, APUs on, left and right are on, center's on, ACARS is up and running, and external power has already been removed. Let's get to work starting. Perfect. Oh, there's one problem. I just realized it. Go back. Okay. Now let's give it a try. All right, now we're going to do it. Okay, we are where we can hit the fuel. Double check everything down here. Looks good. Okay, generator 2 just kicked in. All right, just waiting for a stabilized engine, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, let's take a look here. And with the engines up, still stabilizing. All right, we're stable. Let's go up here. All right, so we're going to walk right down it. Left, let's see. Parking brake is still set. Tow vehicles we never use. Left and right hydraulics on. Anti-ice, we're not going to use that. Left and right engine bleeds on. Packs back on. APU bleed off. And do we come off? No, we come off the generator we're on and turn it off. And now we make the final checks for takeoff, which include the MCP, runway heading. I can't remember, it's 55. Okay. All right, initial climb out of here will be 37,000 till ATC says otherwise. Okay, flight director's on. Okay, speed 136, 146. Okay, and I think we're ready. State trim needs to be 4.1. Okay, we'll leave it. And flaps 5. Weather radar to RX, but do not turn it on up here. And DH and all set. Flight controls. Okay, flight controls all checked. Ready to taxi. And our common traffic is... Where's tower? 133.45. Okay, here we go. Homestead Air Reserve Base common traffic. Reach 1821 heavy, taxi to runway 6. Oh yeah, we got a long taxi. Hope y'all are ready. We're on our way to Seymour Johnson. Great flight ahead. It's my wife was just telling me all of the things left behind from watching our little 10-month-old. Handprints on all the windows at about 2 feet high. Ah, the fun of a grandbaby. I had parking spots back here, so I'm looking. Oh, there is a way out. Okay. I might try those next time. Unless they're for the super secret aircraft that go in and out of here. You know, all those drones. Oh, wait, those are up in Jersey. They're out of McGuire. Yeah, next time I wasn't sure because I remembered these long hangar buildings if I could get out of there. And that's why I didn't. Man, I wished I had now. That would have been a good parking spot. So I hope y'all had a wonderful weekend. Hope you've everything went nice and safe, obviously, if you're here watching Flying with Mike. And I hope y'all enjoy and are looking forward to a wonderful week. I believe Mardi Gras has started. Well, does it ever end in New Orleans? Let's just be honest. So, but anyway, I believe we're now approaching the season of Lent, um, which is not just a Catholic event, and many people think it is. There's a lot behind Ash Wednesday that I wish a lot would learn, but I'll have to let them learn. I'm not going to be the one here teaching. So, but yeah, Mardi Gras is meant just to give you a quick, as a, you know, get it all out of your system, because when Lent comes around on Ash Wednesday, we abstain from that which we find resistance holding us back from getting closer to God. As we grow closer to Palm Sunday and Easter, we call Easter today many, and I would say more rightfully so, Resurrection Sunday. Then finally we lead into Pentecost, and yeah, it's a whirlwind for the next 2 or 3 months. So, but that is what Mardi Gras is, just to get, you know, all of that out of us, and we hit Ash Wednesday after Fat Tuesday, and we try to put away things that keep us from getting closer to God. I know there's better words than that, but I keep it as simple as I can. And so we'll see how the year progresses, and I hope, and as we get closer to these, I'll let you know. But I do know with St. Louis, they had the Mardi Gras festivals this weekend, past weekend. The one that always gets me is the I think they call it a dog parade, but it's, I think, truly a pet parade. But I think it's a dog parade. Not because that's all you ever see at them, but I think that's what they actually call it. And I know the hate mail's coming, so. All right, so we'll hold here, get ourselves all situated for takeoff. But yeah, that's where we're at this week, and I hope you all take some time. Just realize it's not just for the Catholics. It's for everyone this season. Jesus wasn't just for Catholics. And while many of us wonder about the Catholic faith, you know, curiosities as to why do they do that or this or that, it shouldn't hold us back. All right, so let's get this plane ready to go. Okay, RTO. Flight directors on, DME or VORs are on auto. State trim set, flap set, radars on. Now we'll click in radar here. We'll trim, move the panel up a little. Come over here. Go to terrain. I think I'm on terrain. Yep, there we go. And we're ready to go. Hope you are. Let's do it. Homestead common traffic, reach 1821 heavy, departing runway 6. I really wasn't certain this line was up here. That's why I held so far back. Because there's no signs on either side to let me know it was. And I do know there are some in the Flying with Mike followers and subscribers who actually like this plane. I actually like it and are glad when we get it up and going here. So hopefully they enjoy and are watching. If you are, hello, welcome aboard. Here comes the radar with some more loveliness. All right, we ready? Let's see. All right, couple of quick notes here before we get going. I know there's no one coming in. Your altimeter. These are some click spots you need to know about. Bear with me a second. All right, I'm going to get the METAR here. I like to always, because I don't really fly it a lot, but the 767s are, like I said, they are a go-to plane when I'm not certain anything else will work. All right, so here's our latest as of 1908. Broken at 7,500 and altimeter 2988. All right, now we're not going to get the indication here of a conflict between altimeters. However, let me just kind of do this. If you look, you got 2988. Now you have to set this one. However, if we look over here, it'll say 2991. Now, how do we get them to come together? This set screw right here will set it to 2988. You could get a conflict here in yellow about altitudes. I forget the specifics of the wording. That'll go away when you do that. Same thing, you can set it here, click it, and it'll go back to here. Lastly, and we'll show it on the go. Okay, engine stable, brakes off. Right next to speed, this set screw, if you click it, puts you in toga. Oh, and I forgot to set it over there. Doggone it. There's 80 knots. B1, rotating. Gears coming up. Gonna go to heading select here and center. Okay, so we're on our way. We forgot to get the flaps up quick. We are now going to go direct. Trying to make sure we are. Yep, we are. Okay, so we are direct now.
Attention all aircraft. Altimeter 2988.
Uh-oh. Why do I got a feeling we're about to crash the desktop? We did. That is rare on this. Wonder what happened. Well, let's go find out. Hang on. Well, that was the wrong one. Sorry about that. I have no idea why we crashed the desktop. Huh. I've never had that with this plane. So, ooh, let's find out what happened. Log. Got a feeling it's going to be with the weather. Yep, weather. Oh, the X-plane was running real time. Between that and some scenery not loading, the weather did not update right. So that's what caused it. All right, well, that's a pain in the butt. Well, doggone it. And unfortunately, that happens everywhere. I'm just going to check one other possibility. See, making sure I didn't miss a 767 update, which they have, like I said, have not done in ages. Their eyes have been fixated on sevens, and everything else they've kind of pushed to the side. And that's why I'm when you let your products go to the side like that, it makes me nervous as to your dedication, maybe is the word I want to use. I don't know. But it really does make me, gives a lot of concern. Huh. And we had a company like that in FSX. So that just really stunk. Huh. Trying to think. All right. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead. Well, let me check something here. Hang on. Discord. Ah, the weather always seems to be a problem. Aggravating, yes, the weather. The other thing I want to look at is traffic levels over at Miami. We shouldn't have had our frame rates go down like that. Well, doggone it, I don't get why it does this all the time, or sometimes. This airplane, it's actually never done it on. Um, all right, well, I am going to be quiet here, get this thing reset up, and you all can watch as we start from scratch. All right, folks, we'll try that. We're going to clear the weather up here and see if we have any improvements. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Just running through everything. ACARS double check is back up and running. Hopefully this time for good. Jeez. All right, last thing we got to do. All right, so okay, everything's set. All we got to do is come down here. All right, I think we're ready to go. Okay, one thing to keep in mind with some Air Force folks, got to be on VATSIM. Unfortunately, they do have provisions for DCS, but it's not. Obviously, you're not able to get on VATSIM, but I don't know what the rules, if any, fully in place yet are. So, by the way, that only took us 16 minutes to get to that point. And yeah, the 200 is not exact, like the prototype, the real in startup, but it does a pretty good job. So we'll get back to going here in a minute. We'll get back quiet and we'll let the plane do its thing. All right, let's get up here. All right, left. Okay, everything looks good to go. Now, we aren't going to turn the yaw dampers on. What that'll do, it's an old flight sim thing, goes back to FSX and beyond. You'll get your rudder cockeyed on the ground with the yaw damper on, and there's no way to overcome that I know of. So I just leave it off, and if I remember, I turn it on once airborne. If I don't, I really don't worry about it. So just wanted to let you know why we don't turn that on. Okay, moving on. Auto brakes. Taxi lights, altimeters are set, and well, they are what they're gonna be. Actually, okay. Yep, we're set. Okay. And MCP is set. State trim 4. Works for me. Radars. To weather. And flight controls. One more check here. Okay, everything's set, ready to go. Back to engines. Get rid of those chocks. We're ready to get out of here. Take 2. Okay. Taxi lights. And I was silly and didn't send them this flight report as to why it crashed. Okay, before takeoff, parking brake. Okay, speed brakes are down. Runway lights will come on. MCP will turn the auto throttle on at the runway. We're ready to go. Flaps are... And we'll see if we can't do a little better job on that speed retraction and not get the flaps in trouble like we did. Speaking of which, takeoff 2. That's what I forgot to do also. Hey, at least we get a chance to do it again. Far cry, clear weather, nice Florida day. It's nice that we're able to do that in the sim. I'm trying to alleviate some. Oh yeah, I wanted to check traffic. It's really not a lot. Well, hopefully we have a better departure. Whoa, we're gonna run into the, there we go. Wanted to see if we had like heavy traffic in Miami, that being the cause. All right, and again, we're flying for Simulated Air Force, icrew.simairforce.com, icrew.simairforce.com. Now, the KC-46 that you see out here obviously is missing some things, but you can find it Flight Factor. Basically, what I did is I purchased the professional extended version, which gives you a lot of versions of the 767, and then I found the textures for the KC-46, and then all you do is just start up the 767 200 SF. Make sure Pratt & Whitney engines, otherwise you'll have a white ring around the engines, and that's all you got to do. And how to get it here real quick. I think I got just enough time. Oh, no, I didn't. All right, hang on. I'll get it for you, folks. Exclamation mark 767 will get it for you, though. Not sure if we have a moderator. I guess we don't. No biggie. There we go. And that'll get you the base models. And then real quick here, I do have it available. Boom. All right. We'll bring her to a halt here. Final checks. Big one being, are we on CTAF? Remember, when you're in the US, Canada, Mexico, Caribbean, I don't think Central America, but from the sounds of things, no. But for sure the US, for sure Canada, for sure Caribbean, for sure Mexico. You got to be on common traffic. Most of you don't, but I get it. But that's where VATSIM wants us. And if you don't know the frequencies, or there's just too many tower frequencies to figure it out, .ctaf in your client that connects you to VATSIM from your sim will give you that frequency. Set it and talk on it. Homestead Reserve Base, reach 1821. We had difficulties on takeoff with a crash to desktop. We're going to try take number 2, departing 6. All right, let's get our lights on. I'd love to fly with real world weather, but since we had that crash to desktop, let's give it a try without it and see what happens. Now, the only requirement at Sim Air Force is we fly on VATSIM. You don't have to have real world weather on. Okay, hang on. Set, we're going. Here we go. And if you remember, right next to speed, there's this little screw. Click on it, you go into toga. $80 knots. Here comes V1 rotating. Gears coming up with positive rate. Uh-oh. Somehow my cables came disconnected. Flaps are coming up. Thought I felt something weird. I wonder what caused that. All right, things seem to be progressing a heck of a lot easier. Let's go direct. Huh, I guess it is pretty much direct. Wow. Now, if approach or center was up, there may be some turns here and there, but literally we're direct to Mark, M-A-R-C-K, Mark, however you want to pronounce it. We're headed direct. We're climbing. Flaps up, gear up, auto brake off. We'll get our lights at 10,000. We're on our way, folks. We're going to try this one more time. Take 2 or 3, whatever you want. Have a great one. The only thing I didn't do was start a timer. Oh yeah, I did. 16 minutes. That'll work. So from the time we said we were ready to go till airborne, total of about 40 minutes. So, and there's our signal for 10,000. And away we go. Yeah, I guess something with the weather just didn't download correctly, and I have no idea. Like I said, I didn't think to save it. Let me double check. Sometimes I outfox myself. Nope, I did not. So, All right, well, I am going to let the aircraft climb away. Things seem to be... We'll use this one today. Oh, we can't. Disregard. For the moment, we can't. It helps to start tracking over here. What was our flight tail number again? 4621. Hey, the picture finally showed up. Cool. We are on Elevatech, by the way, folks. Also, they are an alpha project, and here soon we might be getting told beta. I don't know. I'm lost in where we are there. I seem to be fully up to date, but I keep seeing messages that say, not all of you are on the right version type whatever. And always makes me wonder if it's me. And I would love for them to call me out, because I think I am. Everything points to it that I am. But I am still sold on Sim Toolkit. 2 reasons. Free. That's all you got to say to me is free. But 2, you learn a lot from it. And it provides you with a lot of information. For instance, this week's flights. Little challenged again, not knowing from some of the places we ended up what we could fly. Some I know off the top of my head, some not so much. And I took some creator license in setting them up. I think you'll like the flights this week, by the way. But it gives you that ability to look at what the real airlines do. Now, FlightAware will do it as well, not as openly as Sim Toolkit does. And I will sit right here. I do not know how up to date the developers are with regard to that, but they seem to be updating flight schedules pretty regularly. So you have that. You have streaming options. You have flying options on it. But where I find it helps me a lot, even though some of you will say, no, it doesn't, is in the landing data. It helps me to know, one, where did you land on that runway? Those big marks on the runway is our aiming point. That's what they're called, aiming points. So that's where we touch down, gives us the greatest amount of runway, aside from touching down right on the end. In braking, especially on the short runways. And they adjust for that, folks. They really do. It also gives you a lot more metrics than the rest, and that helps too. Now, I could begin to go back to rewinding and going through that, and I've thought about it. I haven't heard a big outcry to do that, but I could do that. So, but anyway, they're an alpha project. They're a lot more like Volanta, which I left because they began making you pay for modules. Certain modules you had to pay for. Sim Toolkit's completely free. And I actually had a discussion with someone a few months back as he argued, no, it's not. It's got pay in it. No, it has 0. I love that. Sim Toolkit, please keep it that way. Duluth Fly rated with 4 viewers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And welcome in. First time chat from a raider. Sincerely, Brittany. Welcome in. Thank you, ma'am. Welcome aboard. We'll get back to Sim Toolkit, Volanta, and all of that in a moment. Azul's rating 2 with 1. Wow. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, Raiders. A real quick recap of who I am. Flying with Mike. I try to fly, and not exactly like the commercial guys do, but as best as I can and yet to have fun. I have a private pilot's license, albeit from the 1980s. I haven't flown since the 1980s. I would love to get back into it, but thank God for the scenery, or for the simulators. Yeah, thank the scenery is just magnificent out here. It's right over the ocean. Can't beat it. Oh man. But anyway, I've been in the flight simming since about 1998, 1999, with, of course, the Microsoft products. Switched over to X-Plane in 2020 after watching horrible streams with that new sim over there. And I just would not go. That's just too much money for that. X-Plane was perfect. It had better than expected flight dynamics than Microsoft. Just a great community over here, great aircraft, some high quality PMDG type aircraft for free. So, and I see sincerely Brittany has only been in an airplane once, Ohio to Louisiana. Well, I did a trip like that in the 80s, and I try not to talk about it. Anyway, I'm sorry if that's offensive. Oh, but that's awesome. Not trying to offend anyone down in Ohio, where I actually graduated high school, or Louisiana, and we'll just leave Louisiana in the bayou. No, just kidding. Great. Right now, I talked about it at the beginning, Mardi Gras. But I don't really think Mardi Gras ever ends down there. I think it's just kind of an extension year round. So that's a little bit about me in a nutshell. I started streaming also in 2020. So welcome in, streamers. We thank you. If you haven't done so already, hit that follow button. Love to have you on our upcoming flights. We got a pretty good schedule if you look in the about for this week. 'Tis the season right now. The king cake. I've heard about them, and the time I was down there, a group went to New Orleans. I did not. It would be another 5-6 years before I would drive a semi load down there. I never ever have had a king cake or seen a king cake or anything. Only the true locals know you leave the knife in the king cake box. Okay, now I may stay away from New Orleans knowing they pack each box of king cake with a knife. Yeah. But then again, Chicago packs 9mm in a lot of weaponry. So, oh wait, did I say that out loud? So, yeah. So, I've actually never had a king cake. I've only seen them on TV, which does not count. And not sure I'd ever try one, but yeah, I've seen them. Interesting how they put that little baby. Is it a baby? I think it is, somewhere in it, and kind of interesting. But welcome in. If you haven't already, hit that follow button, folks. Welcome and have you aboard. Again, Azul, thank you for the raid. Duluth, thank you for bringing 4 over. Oh, you leave your knife. Okay. I was a little nervous there. Okay, I get it. Yeah. The dessert that comes packing. You know, I see these in a lot of spy movies. They hand the prisoner a cake and there's a file in the... Oh, that's awesome. Hey, Azul, welcome in. Hope you had a great stream. And Duluth, I also hope you did too as well. Haven't had any yet, she's saying. Basically tastes like a cinnamon roll. Okay. I have to trust you on it. Like I said, I've never seen one. And the only time I remember, I've only been in New Orleans 2, maybe 3 times when I drove a truck. One on the way out to Iberia. And it was one of those loads you just kind of go, what? Pick up a load of mustard. And it's not jar mustard. I was actually picking up mustard seed, bagged for, I guess, mustard for cans. I don't know what they use it for. But anyway, took it, I don't even remember where, but I just know it was out somewhere by Iberia. And it was not long after Hurricane Andrew came through. I was really shocked at the lack of destruction, thankfully, because Florida was just demolished, southern Florida. So I was really kind of not sure what I was going to find out there. Oh, you finally got a generator. Awesome. So, but yeah, that's the other 2 were hazmat loads out to Monsanto, which I think is Johnson Johnson now. I have no idea. Companies have been changing names left and right this last decade. Hard to keep up with them, but a couple of hazmat loads out there. Those, of course, in the 90s. I haven't driven a truck since 2001. All right, we are on, just so I can update y'all, we are flying for Simulated Air Force. They're a group, virtual special op group, that allows them basically to fly in the military restricted areas, places like Dreamland, if people know it by that name. Others know it by the Nevada Test Range. Others know it as ATC won't let you fly through there on a direct route to San Francisco. It's an area north of Las Vegas where a exercise, the real Air Force and other countries come to play real war games. And what they actually, by real, I mean they're actually dropping ordnance on the desert. Air-to-air is still conducted via computer, but they actually can drop weapons. And it's a big war game up north. There's one in Alaska as well, but that's what you're allowed to fly through. And of course, the infamous Area 51 is in there, if you've ever heard of it. And so that's what the virtual special groups give you. They also give you the ability to fly formations, air refuel. Cargo guys can go into these restricted areas and cargo drop and LAPE drop. LAPE being they get down real low to the ground, open up the cargo bay, and let the cargo slide right out onto the ground. The only parachute is that which pulled it out. So it's basically so we can fly in there. Folks at Sim Air Force will go in and simulate dogfighting. We'll do some exercises every now and then where we actually go in head to head. We haven't done those in a while, but we could. And again, I've mentioned it, air refueling, which, by the way, this aircraft is capable of if it had the boom attached. I don't know how sophisticated VATSIM and the Sims have gotten with regard to air refueling, in particular, dogfighting also. In the past, I'll give you an idea. When you would look at the guy coming in to connect, you would be lucky to see him within this envelope, or vice versa. He would see it, you would see him about a mile back. Dogfighting, kind of the same way. We had rules of engagement to help with that. But air refueling, with the last times I did it was on Join FS as well, and I know it's part of X-Plane 2. You could actually get the plane right up, connect, and we could transfer fuel, depending if the model had that option. So that's what being with a VSOA. If you do this and you're not, you're subject to the rules of VATSIM, and they could kick you. So by that I mean terminate you with VATSIM. They're very conscious of the guys flying the supers and the tubs that I call tubs, airliners, because they don't necessarily want to all of a sudden, if they don't have their crash features turned off, be blown out of the sky because somebody wants to go, hey, I could shoot him down. So they have rules in place for this, and that's what you have to learn. So, but anyway, we're with Simulated Air Force. We're flying from Homestead, Florida. I mentioned how Florida got destroyed by Andrew. Homestead was ground zero. Came ashore at Homestead. All hurricanes since Andrew are compared size-wise to Andrew. And usually Andrew looks like a little thunderstorm compared to them. So, but we're flying up to Seymour Johnson, which in the military still active, fighter base and tankers. So they used to have bombers, but they have since moved them elsewhere to either Barksdale or Minot. Why not Minot in North Dakota, where you have to have a passport because you never know if you're still in the country or not. No, just kidding. Some up there will say, that is so true. But yeah, that's where we're headed. And then time permitting, we're gonna, since we had the crash to desktop on the first attempt, we're still trying to get to Andrews afterwards. We'll do a plane swap. Join us. We'll be in Seymour Johnson and okay, I know that's not right up there. Hang on. 1 hour, 3 minutes. Oh, okay, I do see the one now. I've got to figure out how to make that overlay better. All right, let me see. We're in cruise. Why are we not on course? Oh, I know why. Hang on, let's get on course. Gozer. You know, when I click to go direct, it always helps to click an LNAV to get that turn in. All right. Yeah, we're kind of like those 9/11 fighters that when the call came, they did exactly what they were trained and flew out because they didn't tell them where. They flew out into the Atlantic to intercept instead of not realizing the intercept was in Washington, D.C. Can't blame them. They did exactly what they were trained. Okay. Let's take a look here. Well, glad I didn't change that. Looks like the winds have now changed in favor of 26, 10 miles visibility and clear. Well, we already knew it was going to be clear because we set the weather to clear. But yeah, how about that? So let's get our FMC set up for the arrival. Let you all see it as I do it. All right, so there's ALYRA, and then we're going to head up here to TINKK. next to Pink. And there is a funny story with that, but won't bore you with it. Anyway, so from ALYRA to TINKK. All right, so legs, TINKK. Okay, so let's go to departure. Index arrival. Okay, so we have no stars. You can see that over here as well. Arrivals, none. Approaches, quite a few. All right, since we're on 2.6, let's click select. And what it's going to do is show us what's available. Huh, T-Bolt. You know what? I'm going to do that one. ILS 26 Zulu T-Bolt execute. And I'm not sure how that's going to look. Zulu. Oh, that's going to work out perfect. All right, now let's look at it. All right, so we have to be above 4,000 feet on this 18-mile arc off of Seymour Johnson. Now, they work with the military, so they're going to be on TACANs. Believe it or not, this aircraft, KC-135s, KC-10s, have a TACAN on board. It's just like a VOR, just like more like an ADF, a beacon. So aircraft can find them. Because, you know, you're just a little speck up there. Now, and if they can't run with their radars, they can be worked in this way, so long as the other side doesn't pick up your beacon. But they can track in and find them when they're in the weather. So other things for that matter can be done off a TACAN. So they're going to be 18 miles off of this. So how the flight sim works a TACAN, they actually assign it a frequency via the number and letter at the end. That's how they get it. DCS, if you fly digital combat sim, they actually work with the TACANs. So it gets kind of interesting, especially finding your tanker using the TACAN, but it does work. So we'll fly the arc to snow. Snow is above 4,000. Okay. Why do I need to know that? Well, I want to make sure we set up our descent properly. T-Bolt at or above 11. Okay, so we started at 11, descending. Okay, so let's go to legs. Close that discontinuity off. Above 11, I'm actually going to set first execute. I'm going to actually set it at, back up. Okay, that's going to set it, and I'm also going to set it at 250. Okay, now we're going to descend down to snow. How far out is snow? 18. I guess we can work that. Zilbo at 12. Okay. Zarov runway to me. Okay. Yeah, we'll work that. We'll do our best to slow it, but I'm gonna help it. I'm gonna have to. 210. There we go. And I'm gonna hit snow at 4,000. And then we should be on the frequency. Frequency will be 109.9. We'll set that in, and the course. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. Okay. All right, so I hope you're ready for this. Boy, this one's so hard to read. We are currently Did I forget to start it? Huh. Not sure what's going on here with some toolkit. Let's do this. All right, sincerely, Brittany, thank you for lurking. Well, thank you for being a part. Hope to see you on the landing here shortly, as soon as we get some toolkit. Uh-oh. Come on, some toolkit. Here we go. Ah, there we are on the map. All right. Okay, about 53 minutes to go. Hope y'all enjoy. If you've got or had predictions in, you'll need to put them in again. Had to reset Sim Toolkit. I'm going to take a quick break, use the restroom, stretch my chicken legs, and I'll be right back. All right, folks, we're back with you. Welcome again. Thanks. Great raids from Duluth Fly and Azul. We sure appreciate you aboard. Hope we can give you some pretty good landings here since we've taken away some of the hard parts with the winds and all, but we're not going to bring the weather back, so. And we're about 45 minutes out. All right, so I got things set up here to see a little bit better. Welcome back from the break. Here comes the Manny. Welcome in, sir. So, I hope everyone's having a wonderful Monday. And I know those two words normally don't go together well. Wonderful and Monday. Easy with the lettuce and the tomatoes being thrown at me. But I hope you're having a great day. And thank you for those that when I asked last week for prayers, thank you. Can talk a little more about it, but I'm not going to get too specific. But my anxieties went up last week with circumstances going on here at the house, and I just needed more help from God than I usually ask for. And thank you for your prayers. Everything came through just beautifully, and I thank you so much. I don't, like I said, want to get into specifics because I just don't need to. But I thank you so much, and let me know if there's anything I could be praying for you too. This isn't a one-way street where I ask, and those of you too. I will tell you right now, if you ask for prayers or you have a situation you want to talk to me in private, I mean, we can do a private DM on Discord, and I can listen to you and pray with you and all of that. So life is really can sometimes throw storms at us. I was just watching something on Facebook from a preacher I really admire. Very I love the stories he tells. He's a Texan, so Texans are notorious for great storytelling. And he was talking about what storms can do in our lives, and why, and all of the, not the why so much we go through them, but in some senses maybe put a why to them. And yeah, that was a really I just thank you all for the prayers. Just really, I could feel God pressing in on me, saying everything was going to be okay, and it ended up being okay. And I want to say thank you. So those naysayers out there, you know, I can only say I've lived a life that sometimes I wonder how I got to this age, from driving a truck to some of the things that inadvertently the next mile down the road, just like, whoa, what happened? And I got through it. And through all of the what life can throw at you with your families and all of that, it sometimes amazes me that every morning I wake up and God says, another day, as I take in a breath. And I'm 6 feet above the ground. Okay, in my case, 5'10", but still, who's counting? Even though my wife says I'm shrinking, I have doctors now to say, no, he's not. I think she's getting taller. But anyway, thank you. So welcome in those that are new. Hey, if you are new, smash that follow button. We'd love to have you aboard. And if you're new watching this over on YouTube, that subscribe and like button, we'd love for you to smash in on it. That way you'll know when a new video comes onto YouTube, and Twitch, you'll know when we go live next. Got a pretty good schedule for you. If you look down in the About, you can see it right there, or on the Schedule tab, and it'll tell you when we're going live. If you're on YouTube, just hit the More section, click over to Twitch. We would love to have you during our live sessions, but I get it. Some of you are on that other side of the world. Yes, the world is round, not flat, as some still believe. So I know you're on that other side, and that you're fast asleep at this hour. Get it. Got it. So, but we're glad to have you at least on YouTube. If you ever get a hankering, though, come on up. You know, we're here. We'll love to meet and greet you. And if you're looking for a virtual special ops group with VATSIM to join, check out icrew.simairforce.com. We'd love to have you aboard. Just realize you got some hoops you're going to have to jump through. But we would love to have you aboard. It allows you to then fly in formation. You can fly air refueling, dog fighting in the restriction areas, fly in the restricted areas, controlling your own separation, and so forth. So think about it if that's something. Just realize you do have to fly on VATSIM. So love to have you over here at Sim Air Force. I just found out I've been here almost 20 years. Can I have my pension check? I'm just asking. I mean, I've been here long enough to get one. Or do I seriously need to retire? Just that's all in tongue in cheek here, folks. Like I said, I've been with Sim Air Force a long time. As you can tell, nearly 20 years. And I've seen a lot of people come and go, but I've also seen a lot of just outstanding fun flying we've done, and just our own exercises, let alone joining other virtual special op groups in their exercises, and they can be a lot of fun, and especially us cargo guys can really get a little scrappy sometimes. We got to be. We're just flying tubs. So all right, guys. Coming down from the boss, we actually do have a request for more prayers. And this I can be a little more open with. I'm not going to be too. My daughter has been in a job that's been kind of, it's rough. Okay, we'll just say it that way. She has been looking for another job, just like I have been, and she just got called for a second interview, and we could really use prayers. Single mom, and she could really use a better job than what she's in, and hopefully a whole lot of benefits that her and that little, what I like to affectionately call here, our first officer, our 10-month-old one of our 10-month-old grandchilds. We have two actually, and they're 6 days apart. But anyway, she could really use your prayers. Prayer warriors that are out there, we would sure love. Boy, this would be hopefully a perfect job for her. So thank you for hearing me and listening, and if you are and for any prayers that may go out. All right, here comes the Manny talking. He's lurking, can't talk much, sleepy. Well, that's no excuse. But thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your support. You being here just means the world. Thank you, sir. All right, how far out from top of descent are we? I did this once and we passed it. 160. Does that seem about right? Hang on. Yeah, seems about right. Oh yeah, we still got a lot of ocean to go. All right, I was also about to talk about this beast out here. Yes, it is the best representation I've seen that we can do right now of a KC-46. Minus the refueling probe and wingtip stuff. It's 5 a.m. Heading to work. Well, sir, good luck to you today. I get it. Like I said, I know some of you are on that opposite side of the world and can't make it, but we sure appreciate when you do there. Oh, excuse me. Here comes the Manny. So be safe at work. Thank you, sir, so much for your time. We sure appreciate you. Yeah, feeling lazy. I know that feeling. But anyway, thanks for being a part of Flying with Mike. We sure appreciate you. All right, the link I just put up there, links, I should say plural, is how to get what you see on the screen. You got to first have the base, which is the 767 professional and I believe extended. Reason I say it that way is maybe it comes in the professional, the cheaper one. I upped to the middle version, really because I couldn't tell what extra you got with the very expensive one. but you got the 300 ER, 200 ER, 300 freighter, 200. I don't know if you got a freighter, but you got the SF. And that is what you would look for in your menu for this. I also have a link for a pack of KC-46 external textures, but no refueling boom or wing pods. And I'm not sure if there's anything else that delineates it. Like I said in the beginning, I've only seen this aircraft in passing. I've never been up next to it. I've been up to many 767s, but never a KC-46. It's just so new. I've seen it fly over the house. I've seen it take off on the runway I used to work at, land on the runway, and go over to Scott. I've never seen it anywhere else. So, so literally, it is in passing. I've seen it. So, there are things internally that are different than you'd be used to. Namely, there is no boom operator in the back. He's in the cockpit now. Pretty interesting, but should work. I don't see why not. But yeah, it's just basically a 767 frame they started with and went from there. 767-200. And what it really fascinates me what it is capable of. And I'm sure what I know is just enough to fit on someone's thumbnail. So all right. So currently we are showing 104 miles. Let's start getting into this. Oh, Miami Center finally came up. We're long gone. Oh well. GSB is just on the horizon for us. Same with land. So anyway, let's get into these checks, shall we? All right, so first things first. Let's get our radio set. This is your ILS radio next to the ADF and right above your rudder trim. We're going to 109.9. Heading 261. Okay, that sets your ILS up, so you don't have to mess with any of the radio up here. They're set automatic. That's why they say auto. Not sure why the one over here is in red unless it's out of range. Okay, while we're here, now I mentioned this in the very beginning before the crash to desktop climbing out, that I would talk a little bit about some issues with FMCs. You'll hear somebody come on when the controller says, aircraft so-and-so, you're off course. Do you need vectors or this or that? He goes, no, we're having FMC problems. And the controller gives them a little bit before he then vectors them, usually. What causes that? Well, we're not going to be able to really experience it just yet unless, let me just show you. Chart. But let's just say we're flying this on our own and we decide for some silly reason to put it into our FMC halfway into it. Well, once you hit execute, the plane's going to go back to T-bolt. "95% of those radio calls, my FMC is not doing what it's supposed to, is because of that." So here's how I would do this if I have to, like, all of a sudden throw it. Like, let's say he's changed up. Okay, changed. I don't know. We're going into an airport with an arrival, and they change runways on us. We got to switch over and all. But we're still on the same arrival. Say like New York City coming in on the Lindy, instead of the 1-3s at JFK, they switch us to the 2-2s. They won't switch. They won't bend. You got to go. You could go back to the beginning and have to fly it again. It's happened to me a couple times. But if you pay attention when you're doing it, you'll catch it real quick. Or do this. Okay, before you even open up the FMC, come up top here to your autopilot, click heading. First off, put the heading on your course. Click select, or click heading, hold, whatever. So it stays on that heading. Then come over here, click your FMC, go wherever you need to get whatever they tell you to do. Once you're secure, then make your changes using either legs or direct, depending the aircraft, so that you're flying direct that next fix. Execute, LNAV, and you should almost look like you never missed a beat. 95% of those calls are because it's going back to the beginning of an arrival. If you're at Lindy, it's all the way back out to Wilkes-Barre. So the quicker you get yourself back on course, headed to Lindy, the quicker it'll happen. I say this a lot, but yet I know not a lot of people want to listen. But that's how I do it. And like I said, I actually just recently, and I use the Lindy because that's where I hear it many times. It happened to me. They switched runways on me and I wasn't going to argue with them. So I took it and it started me turning, and I'm like, why am I turning? And I went, oh my gosh, we're going back to Wilkes-Barre. So I flipped it back onto the right heading with heading select, did what I needed to do in the FMC, and put us back on course. It's pretty, it can be jarring a little bit, but you just take it step by step. By the way, here comes Top of Descent talking about it. So we are currently about 18, 19, 20 minutes out, and we're about to start our descent into Seymour Johnson. All right. So here we go. 40 roughly miles out. Let me see what we're looking at for an arrival. And I'll be honest, I don't know if the real KC-46 has reverse thrust or not. Believe it or not, the 135, I believe it's the R model with the big radial engine up front. Not radial, but newer engines. I just think, to me, it's a circle, so it's radial. But radial means piston. I get it. You're like, they have props? They don't have reverse thrust, and I've actually argued with a couple of pilots over this, and they keep saying, oh yeah, they do. No, they don't. Let's go over here to descent. Check everything looks good. Let's go ahead. Tell it to descend now. All right, we're starting in on the descent, so let's get ready for the arrival here. We're headed, like I said, Seymour Johnson. At TINKK, we make the turn to T-Bolt. Hopefully a T-Bolt will be at 11,000 and start the arc around at 18 miles from the airport, and then we come in the ILS. All right, let's see, through 30,000 and doing good. Oh, okay, so we're into descent. Let's just make sure seatbelt signs are on. They are. Okay. Lights will come on at 10,000. We're ready for the approach. And let's go ahead, set brakes to 3. We're going to go into idle reverse, but I've actually thought about not putting the reversers out. All right, while we got a few minutes there, the verse of the day came up. It's a really good one when you think about it. Each time he said, that being Christ or God, my grace is all you need. Folks, if you're going through troubles, going through turmoil, as I've been through here for the last year and last week, my power works best in weakness. So now I, this being Paul, says, I am glad to boast about my weakness, so that in the power of Christ can work through me. So I hope that the power of Christ can work through me through all that the storms and trials and tribulations I've been through, not only this last year, but for quite some time, can come out and help those that need it. So it's a really good verse, 2 Corinthians 12:9. It started, I found it off a Facebook reel and dug into it a little, and it's I really like this verse. So I hope you do too. All right, so we just crossed TINKK, headed to T-Bolt. We're on approach. All right, here we go. All right, here we come to 11,000 with T-bolt, and then we'll start down to 4,000 during it and slowing. All right, we've hit the altitude and all right. Any mileage right there, that's how far out from Seymour we are on our RMI over here, 18.1. And I'm going to start us down. Now, the way these DME arcs are flown, they're flown in like 10 to 15. They'll turn them 10 to 15 to 20 degrees, but they're not a constant turn. They'll be straight for a little bit, then turn. Straight, then turn, keeping it at 18 miles out. $26.25. Seymour Johnson area traffic. Reach 1821 heavy on the 18-mile DME arc for 26 ILS. $109,961. Okay. Saw signs of our ILS. Gonna go ahead and lower us a little more. There we go. Okay, we got the localizer. Got the airport in sight. All right, landing lights. Good. Flaps next notch. I think it's 15. 7 miles out. And Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, common traffic, reach 1821 heavy, approximately 7 mile final for 26. What was it? 124, so we'll come on down to about 134. Okay. Okay, brakes 3, lights on, green, 3 green, and cleared to land. Seymour Johnson, traffic, reach 1821 heavy, 3 mile final, full stop, 26. Sorry, I'm just trying to see why we're so touchy. There we go. Okay, let's get down in the groove here. All right, exclamation mark the word predict, and a negative number will get you a prediction. Hope you give it a try. We're very short final, so you don't have much time left. There we go.
Minimums. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
And yes, back in the day when I was in, Seymour Johnson was an F4 base. Today, F-15s, maybe F-22s. Not up on Seymour anymore, but they also run tankers and such. And if I remember right, the tankers park way down there. Unless you're transit. Okay, let me go through the after landing real quick. AP flight directors off. Speed brake flaps. Wait a minute. Speed brake and flaps are up. APU's on, taxi, flaps, transponder to standby. All right. Nice flight. Great time with y'all. Sorry for the crash to desktop on attempt 1. Don't know why the weather is so temperamental sometimes with the sims. Okay, sorry for that. I'm trying to work a little bit of magic here with the sounds. And last I knew, they never had KC-10s here. They had KC-135s. So let's be daring. Okay. Brake set. Let's get the gen on up here. Okay. And okay, welcome to Seymour Johnson. Anything on the trim I needed to do? No. All right. So let's real quick let's step outside. Nice.
Go to the post office and $2 and drop this on Jody's.
All right, just getting marching orders here. Okay, so we got the equipment in place. Oh, went to go here. And we'll just open all at once. All right, and then we'll go back to ground. And I think unload. All right, we're unloading the plane as it says. So while it unloads, let's talk about the flight. That went pretty good. I don't know the landing yet, but we'll find out here real quick. Okay, so we never turned that on too. Okay, a lot of things we didn't do in a hurry, that we should have, but that's okay. We made it. We got here safely. Let's see. Sim toolkit. Oh my. Okay, we had a bounce. 264 feet a minute and then 42. I don't know which one it's going to take. Further information in your log. Oh, that's why. Okay, now it's been filed. And if I'm reading, this will be something new. Oh, hang on. Nice. Nice, nice. I love this new site. All right. Okay, so what's this? Logbook. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's just go here and here. Hang on. I'm going to get things set up for the next flight. And then we'll talk about this one. Bear with me a second here. I do apologize. We'll go there. Okay, that didn't help, so we'll come back here. Go here, go here. Noisy bunch behind us, aren't they? All right, that sounds like they may be done. All right, and what we're doing here is generating a flight. We'll see how well it stacks up. I should, unless they go super weird on me again. Good. All right, so we'll be using a different airframe. We'll redo this. But anyway, we're set up for the next flight. So let's see what we did here. My apologies. Let me step us outside. All right. Get rid of that up top, and then let's talk. Let's talk Elevatech. Again, this is the program I mentioned. This is in alpha, as far as I understand. And Should be out there sometime. I don't know when. They didn't tell me much. But it's a pretty good program. I'm still a fan of Sim Toolkit. There's a lot of reasons. I've pushed them to them. We'll see what happens. But they're taking us at 262, 129 knots. That's right on track, 1.3. For an hour, 41 minutes. Well, I don't know how accurate all of this is, but hey, great flight. Looks good. The numbers, I wish we could get more out of, but all right. So that's Elevatech. Now, the one that I go by, Sim Toolkit, pretty sure will be close to, if not the same, 253 at 128. So you can see generally 260 to 250 on our touchdown, 1.2 to 1.3. Not much change there. So 1.7 Gs, they're calling it at. Let's take a look at the numbers and where we actually landed on the runway. Oh yeah, that's why I'm on here, folks. Their landing data is far better. This is what we got from Elevatech. An hour and 22, 600 miles, 3.5 kilograms of fuel. Actually, 3,500 kilograms of fuel. That didn't sound right. 1.7 Gs. Okay, I'll squibble about that, but whatever. 253 and 128. Hey, those are good numbers. Again, that's what you get on your normal setups. Here's where Sim Toolkit takes it that step further. So here's your metrics up top for the runway. It's 11,700 feet long, 300 feet wide. I wonder what used to come into here. Could it be B-52s? Yeah, way back in the days, B-52s were in and out of here, and they actually have an alert area. Then below that, your touchdown details gives you more specifics as to how your aircraft related to the runway. For instance, nose up 4.5, 0.6, whatever you want to do with the rounding. A little bit of a roll to get it to where it ended up on the runway, and then what we saw before, the 128, the 253, the 1.7. All right, but up here it actually tells you how far down the runway. And again, there's the tankers. Hey, they are KC-46s. Huh, cool. I didn't know that. So here's your threshold. So here's those big white marks we aim for. They can kind of blend in with the way Sims draw runways, so they can get tricky to see, but that's where you're shooting for, and that's approximately 1,000 feet down the runway. As you can see, the PAPIs are right here, the ILS glide slope, all right there to get you on that point. However, legally landing on this runway, you can basically from this hash mark all the back, and we were 1900 down the runway, 5 feet off. Oh, excuse me for the hiccups. Anyway, 5.5 feet off the center line. That's not bad. That is, to me, a pretty good landing. Hopefully that got rid of them. If it didn't, oh well. So overall, you can see a pretty good landing. Now, if you wanted to get even more in-depth information, you could use the replay feature within X-Plane. Comes with it. It's not a download. You got to download, install. Once installed, once you're where you want to replay, usually it's on final. That's where you would do it. However, in X-Plane, I could go all the way back to the very beginning, watch this all over again. No, we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is say, this has been a great flight, and I really hope you've enjoyed. We're going to go ahead and shut things down on the sim side. Twitch folks, hang tight. We're going to be right up in a second. I'm going to shut the recording off, and then we're going to reset X-Plane so we can go from here to Andrews Air Force Base. How's that sound? So bear with us. Hey, thank you all, everyone, so much. Real quick, if you want to be part of Sim Air Force, a virtual special op group, it's right up on the screen right now. iCrew.simairforce, simairforce, all one word, .com. iCrew.simairforce.com. Check us out. We'd love to have you aboard. Also, if you're new to the channel here on Twitch, we'd love for you to smash that follow button. That'll let you know when we go live next time. It is free. Over on YouTube, we'd love you to smash that subscribe and like button so that way you'll know when the next videos are released. But we love you all to death. We thank you so much for flying. And Matt 1997 Air, hey, welcome in. We're getting ready to set up for flight number 2. If you can hang tight just a second. And we're going to stop the recording here in a moment. It's going to look like we're shutting everything down, but we're not. We're coming back up. Just woke up from a nap after flying some awesome, flying some approaches. Love it, love it, love it. So we'll be right back, folks. Hope you have a great day there on YouTube. We'll be right back, Twitch.